Welcome to a Community Partners interview where we explore the organization's opportunities and resources that look to make change in our daily lives. I'm your host, Sean Pickard, and you're listening to Voices for Ability Radio, all abilities, all the time. Today, I'm joined by Rory McLeod, the Executive Director and Artistic Director for Xenia Concerts. Xenia Concerts, Inc. works with the neurodiversity and disabled communities to design, produce, and present exceptional performing arts experiences for children, their families, and others within those communities who face systemic and social barriers to inclusion. Their vision to serve as Canada's leading resource for the creation and promotion of family-friendly, accessible, and inclusive performing arts experiences for neurodiverse and disabled audiences through professional training, production, and presentations. Thank you for joining us today, Rory. How are you today?
I'm doing great, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. Good to hear. Now, before we go too far, I would like to know a little bit more about the Rory McLeod experience. What inspired you to work at Xenia Concerts? Why work with individuals with disabilities?
That's a great question. So my journey with Xenia Concerts dates back to 2021, peak pandemic. At that point, I had my background is as a musician, as a performer, but also as a concert presenter. At that point, I had been planning and presenting concerts for about 8 or 9 years already through another organization. And a colleague of mine reached out to say, "Hey, Rory, I think you might be a good fit for this organization." And I'm actually stepping down as the executive director. This is my predecessor, Sarah Nematala, who had been with Xenia from the very beginning and helped to found it in 2014, 2015. And I took a look at the job description and what the organization did, and I thought, you know what, this is absolutely the perfect fit for my skills and my values. Most of all, I just really believe in the mission of the organization, and I really wanted to contribute to advancing inclusion and accessibility in music. So it felt like just an amazing opportunity to apply what I'd learned as a concert presenter and just push the industry in the direction of greater inclusion and greater access.
That is awesome. I love to hear these stories when it just seems like such a perfect fit, when things just kind of land in your lap. Now, you've mentioned music a few times here, Rory, and I got to admit, that kind of catches me personally. So are you multi-instrumentalist? Are you a guitarist, piano? What's your go-to?
My background is as a viola player. So I started on violin when I was 5, and then I switched to the viola when I was 20. So music's always been a pretty big part of my life. And I've been playing professionally as a violist for the last 15 years or so.
I have to admit, haven't met a lot of violists in my time. So thanks for coming out today, Rory.
My pleasure.
When I was looking things up for Xenia Concerts, I noticed on the website that you have a couple of different things going on. Can we talk about some of the different programs that you have at Xenia?
For sure. I'll start with our flagship offering, which is our adaptive concert series. And these are concerts that are designed to be welcoming and inclusive to really anybody who faces barriers to attending more typical or quote unquote traditional concerts. So we can get more into detail on what that means maybe later in the interview, but essentially we present 30 or more of these concerts per year, mostly in the GTA area, but also outside of the GTA in other parts of Ontario, Parry Sound, Niagara region, North Bay, and we've had partnerships with other organizations outside of Ontario and other parts of Canada, as far as Vancouver, Calgary, and Halifax, to present adaptive concerts to audiences that face barriers to participation.
Adaptive concerts. Can we talk about what exactly an adaptive concert is for a moment?
For sure. So the term, we've adopted the term adaptive recently. We used to call them sensory-friendly concerts because Xenia's origins were in working with the autism community specifically. But a couple of years ago, we decided to change the term to adaptive concerts because it's a bit more inclusive of all of the the different adaptations that we offer in consideration of various forms of disability and neurodivergence. So an adaptive concert is a concert that's really designed to meet the needs of a broad range of needs, a broad range of access needs, taking into consideration people's sensory needs, their physical needs, and other needs such as financial, socioeconomic needs, really trying to open the doors as widely as possible to meet as many needs as possible within the concert environment. But we also use the word adaptive because the concert environment is designed so that people can find their own ways to meet their needs within the space. So maybe we can talk a little bit about what that means in practical terms if you want. Happy to sort of describe the concert environment if that works.
I think we should describe the concert environment here, Rory, because I hear adaptive concert, and the first thing that goes through my mind is something that's set up with, say, 3 different rooms, right? You've got the room where the actual concert's happening, maybe things are a little darker, things like that. And then the next room, you can still hear the concert, but there's lights on. And then another room is just a quiet room entirely, kind of thing. So help me understand the layout. How does an adaptive concert work?
Yeah, that's a great question because it varies from venue to venue. But the things that we really think of as essential are making sure that there is freedom of movement in the space for the audience and having some sort of a breakout space where people can go to take a quieter break, not necessarily to be completely separate from the music. In most cases, you can still hear what's going on. But to have a little bit less sensory stimulation in our quiet zones or low sensory areas, as we call them. So, for example, when we do concerts at Meridian Hall, which is one of our major partners, we do the concerts in the lower lobby space, which is great because we can arrange the chairs however we want. We can leave some open space on the floor right in front of the stage so that people can sit on the floor. We create extra space in the aisles so that people can easily get past each other using mobility devices and wheelchairs. We also are able to set up some spaces for wheelchairs and mobility devices throughout the audience this way because it's not fixed seating. So we can arrange the chairs so that people have options for where they can sit. And then in that space, we've got another space around the corner that's sectioned off with room dividers with some comfortable chairs, some blankets, some weighted blankets and pillows, some noise-canceling headphones, so that people can take a little break from the concert at any point and come back when they're ready.
I love hearing that.
So that's the basic setup. Yeah.
Yeah, I love hearing that. Now, let's talk a little bit about the music. Are we talking top 40? Is it viola music, for example? What do you play?
There might be a little viola here and there. But basically we work with every genre. We just describe ourselves as genre agnostic. So our interest is in working with excellent musicians who are really interested in doing this kind of programming. So in the past few years, we've had everything from classical string quartets to pop, R&B. We've worked with Afro-Caribbean musicians, percussionists. We've done Philippine Kulintang ensemble. There's an amazing group called Pantayo. Shout out to Pantayo that mixes traditional Philippine gongs with electronics and vocals. Really a wide variety, and we try our best to represent the amazingly diverse musical culture of Toronto and Canada.
That sounds like an incredible experience. I'm going to have to come check some of this out here, Rory.
You're welcome anytime.
We will set something up here. Before I really go down the rabbit hole in the concerts, because that is way too easy for me to do, let's talk about some of the other things that goes on at Xenia Concerts besides the concert. What else is on the lineup for programs or services?
We also provide training and advisory support. Let's talk in the big picture of the organization now. We've got basically 3 pillars in the organization now. We have our concerts, where we're providing direct programming to the community. Then we have knowledge sharing activities. So that's we have an artist training program that prepares artists to present adaptive concerts. We also provide advisory and consulting services to other arts presenters who are interested in improving their accessibility practices. And then the third pillar is knowledge gathering, right? So that is working with community members through community engagement activities, people with lived experience, to try and understand as well as we can the needs of the people that we're working with, and co-design solutions and co-design adaptations for our concerts so that we can continually expand and deepen our knowledge of accessibility.
Now, what kind of accessible options will you? I mean, we've already talked about the wider aisles and things of that. What about lights? Are lasers, lights, things of that nature part of the concerts as well?
Yeah, we never include any bright or flashing lights on stage. One of the things that we do is we try to have as even lighting as possible throughout the venue. So the stage will be well lit, but not with any bright lights or strongly directional lighting. And we also make sure that the audience is well lit so that people can read their programs. They can move around safely when they get up. Maybe someone wants to go into the corner and dance for a little while. They can do that without danger of tripping over one another. So that's a great question. That lighting is one of the sensory considerations that we take into account.
Yeah, I was familiar with strobe lights being an issue. So I wanted to know what you guys do, because lighting can be a large part of it. But let's talk about restrictions at Xenia Concerts. When you're putting on a show, are there any restrictions? Age, caregivers, family members only? What goes on? Who gets through the door at a Xenia concert?
We welcome all attendees, and we do our best to make the environment as welcoming as possible for anybody who wants to attend. So it's all ages inclusive, whole family inclusive. One of the big challenges a lot of families face is that they have difficulty attending events together as a whole family. And we're really trying to eliminate that barrier for people. So we design our events in a way that children will feel welcome, entertained, and stimulated. But older attendees, adults, older adults, even including people living with dementia and their caregivers, will still feel welcome and at the same time not patronized.
And that is very important, not feeling patronized right there. So let's talk about some of these shows. Are they put on for a specific purpose? Are they birthday parties? Is it organization celebrations? When does Xenia put on a concert?
That's another great question. So we do have a series of public concerts where anybody can get a ticket. Our tickets are very affordable, and we actually have a system where people can they pay a small deposit of $5 per ticket, and then we refund that deposit when they attend the event. We give them the option to donate that $5 as well, and actually most people opt for that. But the other way that we present is that we partner with schools and service organizations. So, for example, we work with the Bloorview School Authority to bring concerts to their students in the space that they're already occupying and where they have their needs met. We also work with specialized schools within the Toronto District School Board, such as the Beverly School and Sunnyview School. These are congregate schools for children with disabilities. And we provide some concerts within care facilities, so places like Safe Haven Community Living, which provides respite and transitional care for kids with complex medical needs.
Let's talk about that a little bit. The children's concerts, more so than anything. One of the questions we normally like to ask here, Rory, is about a success story, right? Tell me a success story. What happened when someone asked for help? But in your case, you're going in and you're doing shows. So let's talk about the difference in the feeling of the audience when you showed up versus when you left. Can you talk about one of those experiences for me, please?
I can definitely tell you about some of the feedback that we get from our attendees, because we always ask for feedback. This is how we improve our programming and our offerings. We've heard things as as extreme as these concerts are life changing for a family. we've heard people say we never imagined that we could bring our child to a concert before until we found out that these ones existed. And then we regularly get feedback such as, we always leave the concerts in a great mood. They bring us joy. Wonderful to see so many generations enjoying something together at the same time. So, I mean, I think we've developed enough, or we've heard enough from people that about the benefits to their well-being that we're quite convinced that the concerts are beneficial to people's health and to the well-being of the community.
That is awesome to hear. Now, what is the one thing everyone needs to know about Xenia Concerts?
I think the one thing people need to know is that they too can improve access and make their environments more welcoming by just making a few simple changes. The biggest gift, I think, that you can give your audience, an audience that is used to going out into the world and being always on guard and feeling judged, maybe for the behavior of their children, for their own behavior, to give them the gift of being able to go to an environment where it's understood that all expressions are welcome, that we really do want you here, And I think anybody can offer that simply to say all expressions are welcome. It's not a huge ask from a presenter to say, hey, maybe 10% of your events or a few events per month or a few events per year, you can just relax some of the socio-cultural expectations in the concert environment and start to change the culture of concert etiquette.
Concert etiquette has definitely changed over the years. Let's just say that. That's for sure. Now, what's the one thing, Rory, that you see happening over and over again to individuals with disabilities that shouldn't be? How do we stop it?
That's a big question.
We've got time.
We've got time. We've got time. I think the biggest challenge is that we observe is more attitudinal than practical. And by that, I mean, we first have to change the way that people think and the way that people approach problem solving when they're designing an event or a physical space. I think we need to also acknowledge that when you're designing for with accessibility in mind and creating solutions for people with disabilities, you're also making things better for everybody. And for your future self, because any one of us can develop a disability at any time.
That is so true. That is so true, that any one of us can develop that at any given time. And I feel you're really right there, Rory, that the attitude really needs to take a change before any practical or physical things can really be changed for anyone. But let's talk about events. I'm sure you got a couple concerts coming up. When's your next concert? Where is it?
Our next concert is tomorrow, maybe before this story airs, I don't know, October 4th in Brampton at the Rose Theatre. And we're partnering with an organization called Flow Fest. It's an international percussion celebration festival that takes place at the Rose Theatre. And so we're partnering with them for the first time ever to do an adaptive concert in Brampton for the first time. After that, we've got concerts at the Canadian Opera Company's free concert series on October 8th. That's next Wednesday at noon. So we're doing an adaptive concert integrated into their free concert series with Rob and Dan and friends. And the following day, we go up to Parry Sound, and we're doing a concert there at the Hub Auditorium in a partnership with Inclusion Support Services and Early On in Parry Sound.
So you really are spending some time on the road here, Rory.
Occasionally, yes. We do try to get around, and we really try to reach as many communities as we can.
That is excellent to hear. We got a lot of space here in Ontario that needs to be covered. Now, let's talk about becoming a member. So if someone wants to sign up to find out when your concerts are coming up, they want to support the organization, or if they want to volunteer with Xenia. Does Xenia take volunteers? If someone's a musician and wants to get involved, things of that nature. How do people join you? How do people sign up, A, as a musician or a presenter, and B, how do they become an audience member?
So all of this information is available on our website, which is xeniaconcerts.com, XENIACONCERTS.com. And you can click on the subscribe button to enter your email to join our mailing list if you're interested in attending concerts. There's also contact information on that with an email address and a phone number where you can reach out if you're interested in volunteering. If you're a musician and you're a professional musician and you're interested in working with Xenia Concerts, you can always send an email to us through the email address on the website. And I make a point of looking at all of the materials that people send in. One of our values really is to support musicians with professional fees. So we work with professional musicians and we pay them for their time. So we are not looking for volunteer musicians. We're looking to support musicians by paying them for their work.
That is some awesome stuff. I know a few people I might need to talk to about this here, Rory. That could be something. Now, what is the one thing that everybody needs to know about Xenia Concerts?
Well, I think we did talk about this idea of that anybody can do small things that will improve access in their own projects in their own life. But I think the other thing we want everybody to know is that we really want to see you at an event. Like if it's your first time going to a concert and you have a young child, like your first time going to an event like this, just give it a chance. And I've never seen anybody leave disappointed, so we'd love to see you.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone leave a concert with a frown on their face, Rory, to be honest with you. So concerts have a huge impact on a person's psyche.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. They're a very connective experience.
You know what? We should talk about that. How can music impact an individual? How can music actually help on any given day?
Well, there have been lots of studies done on the impact of music on people's sense of well-being. What I've observed just anecdotally in all of the concert presenting I've done is that when people are listening to music in an environment where they feel like they can bring a bit of themselves into the experience and really be themselves and relax into the experience, it opens them up to social connection. And in those moments, either during the concert or right after the concert, people are more inclined to talk to one another and talk about that shared experience. And we have seen friendships form over the years through with families who come to our concerts. And they're also an opportunity for families who know one another to plan an event together and go out and do something with a little bit of structure where they know that they're going to feel welcome and have a good time.
And that's so important these days, having something for the whole family. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about more information here, Rory. If folks want to get a hold of you, they want to find out when you're coming to their town, they just want to know more information. Are we strictly talking the website, the newsletter? Is there a 1-800 number? How can people reach out to you?
We do also have social media accounts. So outside of the website, we're on Facebook and Instagram. So if you just look up Xenia Concerts on either of those platforms, you'll find us. If you're a LinkedIn user, we're on LinkedIn as well, and we do post occasionally there.
Very good. So check out all the socials for Xenia Concerts. And unfortunately, Rory, that's all the time we have for today. Would you like to say goodbye to the folks at home?
Yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks for listening, and hope to see you at a Xenia concert sometime soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Rory McLeod, the Executive Director and Artistic Director for Xenia Concert. Thank you very much for coming out and joining us today, Rory. That's all the time we have, though. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm Sean Pickard. Until next time, bye for now.